Today we're going to discuss forces and any types of forces that act on any given object. In order to discuss the types of forces, let's first define what a force is. A force is any push or pull on an object. So if you have a box, you can push the box, or you can pull the box. Gravity is a pull force that pulls things towards the center of the Earth, when we talk about Earth's gravity, or the center of a large mass. Forces can result in changing the motion of an object. So forces can change the motion of an object. Force is also a vector. It is a vector quantity, which means force has a measurable magnitude and direction. If you think about it, anything you do, almost 99% of everything you do every day, forces are involved in. Whether that's sitting still, or walking to the bus, or riding a bike, or driving in a car, forces are involved. If you had to think about things that don't involve forces, you're going to be talking about things like thoughts and dreaming or thinking, things like that. The different types of forces. We have one, a contact force. A contact force would be, for example, when you're pushing or pulling an object by touching it. Then we have gravity. And gravity, defined, is the force of attraction between two masses. Earth's gravity is a pull force. And most things accelerate at exactly the same rate. If they were in a vacuum, if there was no wind resistance, you would find that on Earth, close to the surface of Earth, acceleration due to gravity occurs at the same rate for all objects. And that rate is equal to 9.8 meters per second squared. Remember, acceleration units are meters per second squared. And we'll talk more about that when we discuss gravitational acceleration. The larger the mass, the stronger the pull of gravity. And then we have friction. Friction, you may know, as you notice this when you work with sandpaper in shop class or something like that, or if you sat and rubbed your hands together very quickly, you'd find that they get warmer. Friction produces heat. Friction is a force that acts opposite to motion. So, for instance, when you're cruising on your bicycle down the street, the reason you stop is because the friction between the tires and the street act opposite to your motion. So friction is a force that acts opposite to motion. It is a force that occurs between two surfaces, and it usually produces heat. It's always in the direction opposite to the direction of the motion. It slows moving objects down, which means it causes deceleration, or what we call negative acceleration, right? Okay, so those are generally the three different types of forces we're going to be discussing. You have your contact force, which is pushing or pulling on an object, all right, and requires contact, touching it. Gravity, which is the force of attraction between two masses. The larger the mass, the stronger the pull of gravity is. And then you have friction, which is a force that acts opposite to motion. Think about it like this. If you're riding your bicycle down the street, or let's say your scooter, whatever you want to call this thing that I just drew, you'll notice that the friction occurs where the rubber meets the road, where the tires touch the road, there's friction. And if the bike is moving to the right, friction is pushing to the left. All right, that's it for the types of forces. We're going to discuss the overall force acting on objects in the next discussion, okay?